There we go.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. We are live. Oh, it looks like no. Facebook's good to go. Or, well, that's fine. I don't need to go live over there. All right. We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube. And welcome back, everybody, to another Take a Knee Tuesday with Captain Mike Wallace, founder of Blue Water Advisors. And joining us today, Tory Hengrenes from Tiki Boat Tours, but also a member and graduate from Blue Water Advisors. So we're going to meet up last week, but had a technical difficulty, and Tory was under the weather. So Tory, hopefully you're feeling better anyways. And we got a big week for Mike this week because you got an event, new cohort tomorrow as well. So wanted to use today as just an opportunity to talk with Tory, share some, thoughts, success stories, any tips that you would, if you were talking to somebody who's like, I'm going to this thing with Mike Wallace tomorrow, what do I need to know? It's a long day. How, what are some takeaways that I should look forward to gleaning? And maybe we kind of keep the conversation with that kind of attitude, Mike.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And let you kind of drive the show a little bit. But
Tory, I should have looked this up, and I think you and I talked about it last week as we were getting ready to jump on. But when did you go through? It's been over a year, right?
It's coming up on 2 years. Yeah, I went through December 2021, which was about 3 months before I retired. So it goes fast.
Yeah, that was the end of our very first year, right? We launched in January of 2021, and so you caught us right at the end of year one there, right?
I did. Yep, heard about it through your network, and you called me like that afternoon, and we chatted, and I signed up like 2 minutes later. So bought a plane ticket to come up, actually.
Wow. And for the listeners out there, if you're buying a plane ticket to leave Key West to come up here to go to this thing, so that puts it a little bit in perspective, right? You were anxious to get the message and get going, right?
Absolutely. It was great.
Hey, what do you recall about it, Tory? I mean, we've come a long way it's crazy. We're getting ready to start our fourth year, right? But our content, our curriculum, we really do try to keep it updated. About every 6 months, we'll dive into it. We're just finishing up, or I should say, starting our end of year content update here. But as you think back in December of 2021, what were you hoping to get from it, Tory? And what do you recall? What stands out to you?
Yeah, I would say what I was hoping to get, and what I did get was figure out what my expectations should be and what to expect going through this transition, because I really didn't know. And this kind of one-day surgical, cohort, if you will, gave me what I should expect, and it really eased and calmed a lot of nerves or a lot of apprehension I had coming up in the next 3 months. And the other thing that I remember that I really liked, and it kind of set the mindset for me, is you walk in to gather in a corporate high-rise building in civilian clothes with that nice glass view and kind of the corporate coffee and just that office setting was a good way to change my mindset. Hey, I'm not in my boots and flight suit going to a brief. I'm going to this professional corporate cohort. And then the last thing I remember is just the people and the networking and the way forward coming out of there. Just it met my expectations, and I was excited leaving there. And a lot of my nerves and apprehension was very much calmed by the end of the day when we're having an adult beverage and just chit chat.
Yeah, they really are, right? I mean, and I love that about each cohort that we do. And for the listeners out there, some that have maybe been a part of a cohort, or maybe some that are thinking about it, we wrestle with this a little bit, Tory, and you and I have talked about this, and largely we listen to our members. There's no doubt that we've got enough content and discussion, keen insights and highlights. We could easily fit it into a 2-day or even 3-day, kind of a career progression, event. But our members are pretty vocal to us, right? They just say, hey, Mike, condense the material, give us the full day. That's what we preserve. And for a lot of our members, I mean, it's hard enough to get one day, right? I mean, and you remember wearing the uniform, plugged into the job, to try to get 3 or 4 days, that's just next to impossible for a lot of these senior leaders that are looking to attend. And so we do revisit those comments, and our membership has been pretty clear. But how we overcome that, I think, is the enduring relationship afterwards, right?
Absolutely.
You attend for a day, it's busy. We plug you into the network. We have key insights available, but literally, right? Your cohort connection document. You got a question? Reach out. Send us an email. Send us something on LinkedIn. Hey, Mike, do you know anybody at this company? Would you connect me here? Hey, would you mind taking a look at a resume? Or, hey, I did this. What do you think? Or, this is what I heard. What do you guys think about this? And that becomes the enduring relationship. And again, not to be overly intrusive in anybody's life. So we leave it to our members to kind of pull that string when and where, they desire. Right. But we do want to let everybody know we're still plugged in, right? So you probably still get our quarterly newsletter. Once every 6 months, you're going to get a 3-sentence email from us. Just checking in. How's it going? Got any issues? We're still here, right? That's what it means to us to be enduring, because you're part of the network right now, and a valued part of that. And so your successes now become available for us to, navigate individuals who want to recreate what Tory did. And on that note, tell us a little bit about what that transition was like for you, Tory, and where you landed initially and where you're at most recently. I say recently, you're starting to have been in your new venture now for a period of time. Talk us through that.
Yeah. So, Mike says it's all about the network, and it truly is. So after the cohort, coincidentally, I got a info call and then an interview with ODL Services, which is right down the hall from Mike. Actually, he got consult for them as well. And it was my old commanding officer and a couple guys I used to work with, and it no doubt was the place I wanted to end up. There was a couple other kind of the standard aviator type companies I looked at and had info calls with, and this was just a great fit. I knew right away this is where I belong. So I've been here. I just looked 1 year and 8 months now on my LinkedIn page, and it's been great. No complaints. Just a great place, and very fortunate, very grateful. It worked out like this. And with that, and Scott, I'll talk about your book really quick. So Scott wrote this book, Veteran Wealth Success, and I read it about 2 months before I went to Mike's cohort. And there was just a couple nuggets in there that I picked up. And one of them was like, hey, now is the time to do what you want to do and follow some of your passions. And recently, as this summer, I started my own small business. It's a tiki boat business. So I am the owner of BB Tiki Tours, and I'm also a boat captain. And it started on July 5th. We had our first tiki boat tour in Virginia Beach. It has been amazing. I could have not asked for a better start. We blew up, stayed busy this fall. And I am looking forward to next summer and the summer after and the summer after and whatnot. So just a passion of mine that I saw a niche for in this area, and kind of living the dream. It's been absolutely awesome. Definitely.
It's fantastic. And I just want to say, and Scott, I don't know, have you and Jen been out on this yet, Scott? I mean,
no. So this is where my wheels started spinning, because I'm like, you talk about the enduring relationships, and I joke is that really what you get with Blue Water Advisors is the old boys network. Everybody knows your network is your net worth. You got to tap in. 85% of jobs are based on who you know, or who knows somebody. So, what better way for someone to tie into the network than, leverage Tory's Tiki Boat, get your 6 to 10 closest people, both inside and outside the military. Maybe this is the opportunity to invite people in the community, just to kind of let them know, hey, I'm retiring from the military. I don't know what I want to do yet. I just wanted to get some of my closest people together and let's start conversations. Yeah, it's a little bit about me, but rather than come to my retirement ceremony and get me pinned on for a bunch of stuff that already happened, let's look forward. Right?
Yeah.
This is what I love about Blue Water and these conversations, and then seeing what Tory's. It's just the forward motivation, the opportunity. That's why our flag on U.S. VetWealth is backwards, right? Forward into battle, right? Is the idea. And so, Tory, I just was curious. What have you seen? Hey, you've been focused on the business, I know, but maybe you ended up on TV or on the news, so
You did.
Right.
Do you any ideas on this kind of networking? Sure, I want to pitch your business. Everybody should go do their little networking event on Tory's boat. I want to do that for sure. I don't know. Are you still in season? Is it too cold yet? When's that start?
We are. Yeah, I'll go as long as you all want to go out. I'll throw a hat on, a jacket, and we'll go.
So no excuse not to network on the water.
Exactly.
I mean, and people don't know what to do, and that's the idea. One of the things I learned about being in business is always have something to invite people to.
Yeah.
And so when you're coming out of the military and it's just like, where do I go next? Figure it out. Have something to invite people to. I mean, here's one of many, of course, excuses that can be useful to everybody involved when you get them around, have a couple drinks, networking a little bit.
Hey, and I've been out on it, Scott, and I highly encourage you to take advantage of it. We put together a great group, went out. Tory hosted us out there, and one of your captains who was trained at the time, I know you were still going through yours, but it was just a wonderful time. Get out on the water, right? Good, have a few drinks, do a little sightseeing, let somebody else do the driving, right? It's just great. It was a great way to kind of get out and just to be a part of it. So highly encourage it. Tory, I'm so excited for you, man. You put a good solid foot forward in this thing. You're passionate about it. You enjoy doing it, right? And it shows, right? And people are just kind of drawn to it, and they continue to be drawn to it. So good on you. And I agree with Scott. These are great opportunities. If listeners are out there, if you want to put together small groups, go out on Tiki Boat and have these conversations, right? As you're getting ready to kind of, pursue your next success in your life and how you're going to do it. And it's just a great environment to kind of do that. But Tory, I got a question for you. Like, I know early on you spent quite a bit of time researching this, right? I mean, what were some of the things, maybe, and I'm talking about kind of the beeps and squeaks, and for listeners that are out there that may be interested in starting their own business, what I would say is, it doesn't have to be a Tiki Boat business, right? It can be any business. It can be Blue Water Advisors. It can be U.S. VetWealth. It could be whatever small business you want to get into. But there's some things that you have to do, right? You got to interface with the city. You got to get your business license. You got to first stand up your LLC. Depending on what type of business you're pursuing, insurance requirements or not, these kind of things. Anything stand out in that, Tory? I know you wrestled with a lot of that stuff as we did. And you and I have had conversations in this in the past, but what stands out as far as some bigger challenges for you?
I would say nothing was straightforward or easy. I don't think I ever got, yep, that's right, go ahead. Like, it was always like, wait, you got to do this, or don't forget about this. But I know when I did my previous podcast with Scott, having a good mentor who's set up a business, who's run a business, who's failed at business, who's had success at business, was invaluable, between you and Joe and Scotty and some of the stuff over here at ODL, just invaluable. But I would say nothing is easy. It's a grind. It is grit. It is every day having a passion about it. And then figuring out when you get told no, okay, how do I get to yes? Yeah. How can I modify to get to yes? So how can I modify my business model so that it still meets what I want to do, but I got told no to do it this way? So, with any business, I think you're going to get told no, and it's not going to go right the first time, and it's going to be a grind. And I love that. It gives the everyday grind I had in the military to a good grind now and another passion. And grind's not a bad thing. It's just where you're putting your bandwidth and your effort for your success. So, but it's been a blast. And the other thing is, have fun. If you're not having fun at your business or what you're doing, especially now that you're out of uniform, you got a little more freedom to do what you want to do. Maybe take a look at yourself and see if you're doing the right thing.
I couldn't agree more, right? And having fun and having a passion about what you're doing, right? So important because, and I'll speak about, Blue Water here just for a second, but it's like any other small business, on the operations side, you are the bookkeeper. You initially do your taxes. You're doing your payroll as required, right? You're the one who's doing business development. You're the one like everything. You're doing your social media, like we were talking earlier today, right? All of these things that as you grow and scale, you hopefully grow into some help, right? Some trusted help out there. But
Absolutely.
initially it's all you, man. You're building your own website, you're doing all these kind of things, you're just doing all of this, and that's where the passion, I think, is going to carry you through. If you're passionate about what it is you're doing, if you love what it is. And Scott, I know you're the same way. You're absolutely passionate about what you're doing. This is what you do. But in those early days, we can all look back and go, man, we do it all, right? You are the person who makes it all happen, right?
And Tory, that's the next question I have for you was when it came to passion about promoting yourself. Once there's a business behind something, we get the idea of marketing. You got to get customers for this thing. Going with what you've gone through now, starting a small business, how would you have looked at self-promotion, or the word I like to use is positioning yourself into the marketplace? I know you have a great success story through BWA and with ODL, but would you have thought about self-promotion? Again, that networking, of course, is part of that, but really it's just marketing. It's personal branding, whatever buzzword we want to use. What would you tell the former Tory, knowing what you know now? Like, how would you?
I would probably have said, put more bandwidth into marketing and learn about it more. I am still learning about search engine optimization. I'm still learning about, posting on social media, LinkedIn. I don't even have a business LinkedIn for my business yet. Hold on one second. So I would have put, there's 20 things to do, and one of them is marketing, and I probably didn't put as much of my percentage of bandwidth into that. I definitely would have just learned more and probably would have leveraged more people's thoughts. But I did get lucky. I had, a newscaster come on my boat and he did a story. I had someone else reach out to do a story on me. So a lot of it was kind of dumb luck. But at the same time, I reached out and did like a free luau event. So this person heard about me, stuff like that. So that is one thing I will say too, Scott, is promotions and or giving away in-kind donations, at least for my business specifically, really helped me out. I mean, I think I've given away over $3,000 of free Tiki Boat rides, but every single one of them's worth it. It's been great.
No,
hey, Tory, if I go back, let me think. So you finished up down in Key West. You were working at the air station down there. How early were you in approaching your transition, right? So as we like to say, career progression, because by the time you attended Blue Water, right, you were pretty much wrapped up and out, right? I mean, or you were really close to it.
I was, yes.
Would you go back, and if you had that to do over again, would you have started earlier? Would you?
Absolutely. I'd say minimum's a year. I started 4 months out, at least with Blue Water. I did all the tap stuff, 9 months out. Earlier the better. And I think earlier too would have set my expectations for that last year, knowing what to expect, where a lot of that last year was kind of on uncertainty. Whereas I think a year out, you go to Blue Water, what's going to kind of be expected. That just would ease a lot of nerves. And, Scott, your book too, it eased a lot of my nerves as well. Like, it's going to be okay. And maybe I shouldn't have been nervous. I wouldn't say I was overly nervous, but it was something I was thinking about every day. Like, what's next? How does this work? But yeah, a year minimum, I'd say.
No, I think that's a fair call out, right? I mean, I think at that time in our lives, we've all experienced it, right? I know I was right there with you. It becomes, unavoidable. You're watching the end get closer, and you go, man, here it comes. And I think the pedigree of individuals that we are, right, we put ourselves often second, and the job continues to stay first. That's who we are, right? We wore the cloth of the nation, and that's just what we do. But what I would encourage individuals, exactly what you said, Tory, you have to find that balancing act. You do have to start time sharing a little bit of attention, on you and prepping for that next step, right? So.
Yeah, if you don't, no one else is gonna those last couple months. Absolutely not.
Well, again, over the last 3 years, I'll make the argument, and I would love to know what you guys think about this too. We build this assumption that the closer I get to the end, the less busy I'm going to be, because I'll be slowly out of the job. My relief will show up. I'll have less to do. When in actuality, the closer you get to the end, think about the competing interests that you have. Not only are you worried about your finances and SBP and TSP, but you've got, VA stuff to work through, medical, and that's a whole nother animal that's out there. And aside from just networking and trying to navigate your way to your next success. So it is, for the listeners that are out there, right, you don't get more time the closer you get to the end. I would argue that you get less time. Thoughts on that? You guys have both lived it.
Well,
go ahead, Scott. I agree. Yeah.
What I've seen is just, technically there is and should be more time, but the assumptions that we get going through the military transition process, it's right there in the language. Like, military is about the whole, so we're just part of the group still. When actually this is supposed to be all individual choices and decisions. And transition is just right in the word there is just fear, scare, is uncertainty. Process. Where's my next duty station, right? When that's not what's happening at all. It's the exact opposite. And so we've got to, what I write about, and I think I wrote about this in the book, is it's time to give yourself the permission. Like, at some point, you have to give yourself permission to go figure out whatever it is. And part of that will be going through the processes and the checklists they give you. But some of that stuff, you kind of just need to check it off and move on, versus just getting hung up and, oh my God, I got to go learn this whole new thing. And it's just like, sorry you didn't hear about this earlier. You started 4 months instead of a year and a half or whatever it might be. We always see the ideal military retirement timelines. Well, great, but that's awesome for the PowerPoint, soldier of life, soldier for life. That's what I love about the U.S. Army. Another bad language thing. Soldier for life. You're literally leaving the military.
Wait a minute. So Tory and I were talking just about coming on here, and for officers out there, you're going to kind of flip your ID card over there, and your expiration date is indefinite. So we're preparing to get called back into service. We're ready to go, right, Tory? Like, hey man,
we're talking about that. Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to start pulling out F-14s out of the boneyard, and somebody's going to need to know how to work them, right? We'll put us right in. We can do it. So,
all the more reason to, have a good business and be employing people, and they're going to want you doing that for the government. But
all good.
Well, cool, guys. Hey, we're coming up on 25 minutes. I know, Mike, you got a big day tomorrow. You want to highlight what you got coming up? And let me just run through a couple of highlights, and then I'll turn it over to Tory. He can cover off on Tiki Boat stuff, and we'll wrap up with you, Scott. But so tomorrow, right, October 25th, that's our next cohort. We're hosting a great group down in downtown Norfolk at the BB&T building, 16th floor, in the gather space in the Neon Conference Room down there. And it's a great environment, as you already kind of mentioned, Tory. It's just a way to get unplugged, kind of start to get a feel for what that next phase is going to look and feel like, right? And so we're excited to be down there. Co-hosting with me down there tomorrow, Mr. Steve Weeman, right? Steve's been a career progression consultant with us now for a while, and we're working hard to kind of reel him in closer with us. And Brian Herdlick as well. So Brian's been with John Hopkins University, right? The Applied Physics Lab as a combat systems engineer. And he's been with them since his time out of the Navy, right? Been with them now 15, 16 years. So he's done really well with the company, and he's a great part of the network and coming down to be a part of it. So we're just looking forward to kicking that off. A little bit longer range, right? We'll wrap up the end of the year
that late October, November, December, we have tried over the past 3 years to get 3 cohorts in that time period. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything else, it's just hard. So we usually do one late October, and then we do one early December, and that pretty much wraps us up for the year. So December 6th is our Washington, D.C. end of year cohort, and which is already full up as well. We've got a great lunch roundtable there. Skip Arney from AVEX is going to be joining us. David Baird from Lockheed Martin is going to be joining us. And Keith Kimmel from Check Six, one of our corporate partners, is going to be joining us. So it's a great group up there, and some good conversations, and we're excited about that. But 2024, you guys, already kicking off for us, right? January 31st is over half full right now. So if people are looking to join the Blue Water team, don't wait, right? I mean, I get contacted by people all the time saying, hey, Mike, I tried to register for your cohort. It won't let me. Well, it's because it's full, right? And so if you think about this, January is over half full right now. February 28th, that's our next one that we've opened up into 2024. We already got 3 or 4 registrations in that cohort already. So that's already well into next year, and people are already tapping into it. I forgot to mention in November, I'm headed out to CNAF, the Commander Naval Air Forces, out there, and going to be doing some speaking, presenting to the aviation major commanders out there. So excited to kind of share some keen insights and lessons learned with that group out there. So we're really excited about that. And then very late breaking, but Blue Water looks like we are headed to Naples, Italy in March. And so we're already making plans and laying the groundwork for that trip mid to latter part of March to go and support the commands there, 6th Fleet, Nav Year, NAVAF as well over there. And so we're just really excited to do that. And then latter part of the summer, like we already talked about, Scott, the Naval Academy Alumni Association, right, already committed now to 1 cohort. We're excited that that's going to be the beginning of a lot more to come. So exciting year for us here at Blue Water. And I did not even mention, right, we will be launching Blue Water Digital as we get into 2024. So we're completely excited about that. Our partners over at Marathon Consulting, located right here in Town Center where we're at, Tom Marsden and his team down there, just doing some fantastic stuff. So I'm excited about that, because for every cohort we do, which is an amazing group in and of itself, the language that I say, hey, we've got 25 or 30 other cohorts that I want to introduce you to, I'm the man in the loop, right? It's the manual effort at that point. Blue Water Digital is going to weave all of that together. So everybody who's been through Blue Water in the past, when we launch this, you will get an account. And if you want to activate it, you can log online and you'll have access to all the other cohorts that are out there, individuals that have been through, where they have landed at, right? Landing reports if they submitted it, et cetera, et cetera. And that's going to be the beginning of some putting some technology to work for us as we track a lot of this information. So just a lot going on with Blue Water. We're really excited to kind of be the disruptor to the space out there, right? We don't have to suffice, or we don't have, the legacy institutionalized process. We just don't have to put up with it, right? We can do better. And together, when we come together, we can do better, right? That's what we've done, Tory. We spend our lives building programs and processes. And if it's not working for us, we just don't have to take it. We can come together and put together a better process. And that's what we're doing with Blue Water. So you guys are a great part of the network. Thank you. Sorry that went on long, but we got a lot of updates going on as we wrap up the year and start 2024. So Tory, over to you, man. Tell me what cool stuff's going on in the Virginia Beach Tiki Boat world.
Yeah, we're just looking to kind of close out this year and continue to generate good ideas and marketing, as we talked about. And then just, next year, I'm just looking to explode and stay busy and scope and scale, whatever that looks like. So I will say we did start doing wedding sail-aways. I did one of those at the Cavalier last Saturday night. Very beautiful wedding. And they got on the Tiki Boat. We went off into the darkness, and then 20 minutes later, turned around and brought him back. But it was really cool for the wedding party and the crowd. So we are open to anything. But no, thank you two for having me on. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, Scott, and just what you're doing as well is awesome. And this space with you two and your network, it's good people, it's passionate people, it's kind people wanting to help out everyone who's coming after us, who's in that career transition and progression. And there's just a wealth of help out there. And these two people right here are definitely putting the ladder down for others. So thank you for having me on, and this was great.
Well, thanks, Tory. We appreciate you. Over to you, Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Tory. No, really I appreciate your coming on. I mean, the idea, we're online, we're on video and YouTubes and stuff, but we're not trying to grow like channels or audiences and do an advertising. Not at all. This is just, we can only meet up in a room so often. And Mike, that actually reminds me, you hold your quarterly events at the Warrior Tap House.
It's true.
We'd like to all be here locally, but you mentioned you are going to start traveling more, so this is another way for us to continue to network. And Skip Arney, for example, if he's gonna be in DC, like I want to come up and meet him in person, because he's one of the first people we met through Blue Water that came and worked with us.
Yeah.
So really cool. But that also reminds me, I was supposed to be at the last networking event, and I was taking my mom to cataract surgery, had to go across the river to Fort Monroe a couple times. Anyways, I got caught in traffic, couldn't make it. I had promised a bunch of books. Anyway, I got hard copies of books. I could bring them down tomorrow and hand them out, or if people wanted to meet me there. But anyways, if anybody was expecting me to bring them, sorry about that. I'll have them for you next time. Of course, you can always go download the PDF version online. But other than that, I'm going to be in Colorado Springs the day or two before Thanksgiving. We're going to host an event out there.
Great.
And then I'm going to be doing speaking events for a veterans organization across the country in 2024. So more to come out.
That's awesome.
That. So that's kind of a new surprise that's come out from all this. So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining us, and I really appreciate the opportunity just to share stories and share resources. Let people know that these types of things are out there. So, Tory,
thanks, Scott.
Mike,
thanks, everybody.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.
All right, see you.